Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Addicts. Get ready to explore the past, present, and future of MMA with your hosts, Seth Oliver and Ben Korn.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to episode number 20 of the Fight Addicts. This episode was recorded in two different times. One was on August the 11th, and the other one was on August 13th, all in 2019, obviously, because we have two different segments in this episode. So, in this episode, we introduce a new segment called In Your Face with Melody Grace. And what that is a new segment that consists of fans of the show coming on to predict the main card of a UFC pay-per-view against Ben's 5-year-old daughter, Melody. So, like I said, she's 5, so she just selects a picture of the two fighters, and then Ben says what she picks. So it's cute and it's fun, and we feel that it's a great way to interact with fans on the show. So we're going to be putting it out on our social media. That way you have a chance to come on and pick against her. And if you win, we'll have a little prize for you. So the inaugural guest on In Your Face was the guy who partially came up with the idea, Wicked MMA. He's a young guy with a new MMA Instagram page. So make sure you give him a follow and tell him that Seth and Ben sent you. After that, we play Pick'em and preview UFC 241 with our boys Ricky and Buddy from MMA Marks. These guys are always full of laughs. They have good back and forth with me and Ben, create great discussion, and we always have a blast doing this with them. I believe that's all I have for the intro, so without further ado, here is episode number 20 of the Fight Addicts. All right, Wicked MMA, Ben, Melody, thank you guys so much for coming on the show tonight. Ben, please introduce the new segment that we have for everybody.
So tonight is the introduction of In Your Face with Melody Grace. This is Melody Grace Korn. She will be making picks against someone from the MMA community, and we will see how the MMA community fares against my 5-year-old daughter.
Yep. And each time will be somebody new. We'll be doing it for every pay-per-view. And our first ever guest is Wicked.MMA on Instagram. Wicked, how's everything going tonight?
Everything's going great. It's a big pleasure to be on here. I'm so excited. And Melody, I think she's going to crush it. Hopefully she doesn't get more than me, because if she would be able to cry.
Yeah. So the way that it's going to work is we're just going to go through the main card of UFC 241 coming up, which is headlined by Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. We're going to let our guest, Wicked MMA, pick first, and then Melody's going to choose her pick. So they're going to go through, and we're going to see who gets the most on the card. So obviously that'll be realized next week after the fights have happened. Now what we're going to do is make Wicked MMA pick exactly how the fight between DC and Stipe will go down. That way if they were to tie, if he gets that all the way right, we're going to award it to him. If it doesn't happen like that, then Melody gets the win. So, very first fight on the main card, Derek Brunson versus Ian Heinisch, Wicked MMA. How do you see that fight going down?
Ian Heinisch completely takes that one home.
So you got Ian Heinisch. All right, Melody.
Heinisch for sure.
Yeah, Melody, who are you going to pick?
Derek Brunson.
Darren Brunson.
All right. So, Melody's picked Derek Brunson already off to a different track than Wicked MMA. Second pick, featherweight bout, Gabriel Benitez versus Sodiq Yusuff. Wicked MMA, who do you have?
Sodiq Yusuff.
All right. His second pick is Sodiq Yusuff. Melody, which of those two are you going to pick?
Pick the picture. Which one of those two guys do you think is going to win the fight?
So she's going through, looking through pictures.
Sodiq Yusuff.
Sodiq Yusuff.
And she selects Sodiq Yusuff. So they are in agreement on that one. All right, now the final three fights are pretty big on UFC 241. First is Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. Wicked MMA. Your pick for that fight.
I've got the Soldier.
All right, he's got the Soldier of God for that one. Melody, which of those two are you going to select?
Which one of those two, baby? You can pick one.
All right, so she's selecting one of them. The pick is in. Who she got?
Yoel Romero.
She's got Yoel Romero. All right, so the only difference is in the first fight so far. Co-main event, the return of Nate Diaz versus Anthony Showtime Pettis, a.k.a. the guy on the Wheaties box. Wicked MMA. What's your pick?
Nathan Diaz.
Nathan Diaz, just as Mike Goldberg would say. Melody,
Yeah.
who was your pick? Uh-oh.
Showtime.
Oh, Showtime. All right.
Showtime that is.
And then the final fight, which Wicked you can go a little more in detail about since you have to explain it if in case of a tie. Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic. So not only give your pick on this one, but go ahead and give exactly how you see that fight going down.
I think this one goes off to DC. I think DC is going to work his butt off this whole entire training camp. I think that he wants this fight more than anything, more than Stipe, because I think after this fight, I think he retires. I think he had no more business fighting anybody else. I think it's too much of a risk to fight John Jones. I think it's too much of a risk for not only his legacy, but for his family. I think he's just going to work so hard for his last fight. I think he's going to take it home. I don't see Stipe beating him in any way. I think he's going to get back into that clinch and finish him into the clinch or on the ground. I think Stipe is comfy for it, but I think he's too hungry. I think he's going to get something that he's not going to be expecting for.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So what is the official prediction for how the finish or decision, how do you see DC getting the win?
I see Daniel Cormier by ground and pound this round.
Did you say second round?
Second round, ground and pound.
All right, second round, ground and pound. Melody, who do you pick in the main event? Who'd you pick?
What? Saying Daniel Cormier.
I said say Daniel Cormier because that's who she picked. Because I have pictures here of everybody on the card, and I say which one's going to win. So the only distinction between you two is Anthony Pettis and Derek Brunson.
Yep. All right. Well, that'll wrap up this segment for In Your Face with Melody Grace. Wicked MMA, thanks for being our first ever guest for this, and partially
thank you guys.
Yeah, partially coming up with the idea for this, because if you were never to message me, we probably wouldn't have done this. So, where can everybody follow you on Instagram?
Follow me at Wicked MMA.
At Wicked MMA. All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Besides the Fight Addicts, best place to be on Instagram.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Say peace.
Peace?
No problemo. Peace.
All right, guys. That wraps up our very first ever In Your Face with Melody Grace. If you'd be interested in coming on and picking against Melody and potentially winning a small prize, just hit us up on any of our social media profiles, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want. Also, we'll be promoting it on those, so if you forget, I'm sure that you'll see one of our posts about it in the future. Now it's on to the main event of the evening, our UFC 241 Pick'em against two guys that mark out on everything MMA, Ricky and Buddy from MMA Marks. Ricky and Buddy from MMA Marks, welcome to the show, guys. Thank you all for joining us.
What's up?
Hey.
Yep, hanging with the boys. We love having you guys on. So,
Oh yeah.
Hanging with the boys.
hanging with the boys. All right,
Exactly.
so this Saturday we have a really big UFC card coming up, UFC 241, which is headlined by the rematch between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, and the return of the always interesting Nate Diaz, who hasn't fought since October 20th, 2016. Almost right
I
at
thought you were
3
going to
years.
say the return of Rafael Assunção. Always interesting, Rafael Assunção.
Yeah, definitely always interesting. And then also a big featured fight between Yoel Romero and Paulo Costa. So,
Steroid Bowl.
yeah, Battle of the Freaks right there.
It's about
Freaks
the
and
third
juice.
time they try to get this fight, right?
Yeah, for real. But
It's
Rick,
this era's George. Guy from Ultimate Fighter named George. He got in the fight with Bisping. Bisping kneed him in the head.
Oh, what was that?
And spit on his
Oh, yeah,
corner.
Rivera.
Stephanopoulos or
No.
Strabelopoulos?
Jorge Rivera. Yeah.
Jorge Rivera.
Yeah, Jorge Rivera. Yeah, Jorge Rivera was supposed to fight Alessio Sakara like 4 times, and it never happened.
Yeah.
They just kept getting canceled because one of them would get sick, one of them would get hurt, but they both wanted to do it, and it was going to bang. Someone was going to sleep. It was probably going to be Alessio, honestly. But yeah,
The world may never
I
know.
thought you were going to say it was this generation's Brock Lesnar versus Alistair Overeem or Ubereem.
Ubereem.
Yeah.
Because it's roids versus roids. Whose roids are better?
Mhm. I think I'd pick Uberim in that. Who would y'all pick?
Ubereem.
They did fight,
Yeah.
and he did whip his ass.
Yeah, Brock got his ass hurt.
Right, but was that?
Yeah, but
that
it's
was
missing
the
the
time of
intestines,
Uberim, right?
Brock, though.
Yeah.
It's the
now we're making
diverticulitis,
excuses for Lesnar.
Brock. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll make an excuse for Lesnar in that situation. He's fighting horse meat Overeem. Like that dude is so sauced up. Like his levels before that fight should have never happened, man. They're lucky that Lesnar didn't get hurt in that fight, like seriously hurt. They could have sued him for all their money because it was like, yeah, he's super duper. Like his testosterone level before that fight was a bajillion, and they were like, well, it's main event goofballs. We're doing it anyway. It's like, how is this
Good old
legal?
days.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, okay.
All right, so Ricky and Buddy, what's y'all's overall assessment of UFC 241? Kind of, looking at it before the fight, like how good of a card do you think it's going to be, compared to other cards this year?
Well, if all the fights happen,
Y'all can thank Buddy for that
Sorry, all
noise.
you listeners. I just hit myself with the mic.
oh man, well if all
So
the fights
good.
happen, it's gonna be a really stacked fucking card.
Yeah.
And I think the main event's gonna be pretty quick. But I'm really looking forward to the co-main.
I feel like Ricky for International Fight Week. I just keep saying I can't wait.
Oh yes,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating these fights like crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be some very good fights. So, looking at the betting lines, and these are all according to Bovada, right now the biggest betting line, well, it was Devontae Smith versus Clay Collard, with Smith being the favorite at -850 and Collard being the underdog at +550. But apparently Smith's opponent has changed because it's now Worthy. So, according to Best Fight Odds, Smith is a -750 favorite, and Worthy is a +450 underdog.
Wow.
And then
Training partners and friends, those two.
I still got Smith whipping his ass.
I do too.
Yeah.
And then the closest betting line is Sabina Mazo, which is even, versus Shayna Dobson at -130. So that's your biggest.
You know who they are?
I do not recognize those names.
Neither do I.
So
Shayna Dobson sounds
Problem. That's a problem when when four dudes who have an MMA podcast are like, do you know who that is? I don't know who that is. All right, moving on. This is a pay-per-view. That's a huge
it is the
problem.
first. It is the first fight.
You
Isn't
only
it
have to have like 12 fights.
I agree.
If we have a podcast, it is like kind of our weird job or like our obsession to know what's up. And yet you've got two people that all of us are like, nope.
Dude,
I don't know who that
there's
is.
so many
We're
fighters
bad
now.
at our job.
But see, like it used to be like when I was 20, like when I was 22 or whatever, whenever I got into this, like you would know everybody on the card.
Yeah.
15 years ago, you'd know everybody, and it was great.
Look at how big it's gotten, though. Like, there's no way, unless you just, like, stay up 24 hours, like, researching the roster. Like, I'm sure there's always somebody there's somebody that's always like, yeah, I don't know who that is on the card. Because you got to think of, like, how deep the talent's gotten in, like, from Dana White's Contender Series to all the kind of stuff like that.
Because you're running too many cards.
Thank you. Yes, you are.
The more the merrier.
If you had an
No,
ESPN
with that,
card,
buddy.
if you had an ESPN card and a pay-per-view, do you every month? That's it. And then there's like Ultimate Fighter. Do you know the stacked level you would get to?
Well, you would just know the fighters better. I think it's just like I kind of equate it to baseball. Like that's why I can't get into baseball. It's 180 games. It's too much.
120. Yeah.
Is it 120?
It's like 126, right? Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
no idea.
180.
Whatever.
Yeah,
It's over 100. Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, some notable fights that I wanted to mention that I didn't know if they would come up or not, so I wanted to bring them out now. Which we've already mentioned Rafael Sunsal, but he's fighting Corey Sandhagen in a good preliminary bout. Devontae Smith, like we've already mentioned earlier, is fighting Kama Worthy, and then a fight that I'm really interested in is the first fight on the main card, Derek Brunson versus Ian Heinisch, especially after we've become friends with a guy who does like the marketing out at Factory X. I know Buddy and I have because he's in our Instagram engagement group. Getting to see videos of those guys, I think that Ian Heinisch is probably going to put on a good performance against
Derek
Brunson.
Ain't got a fucking shot in hell. He just doesn't.
He's going to what? What did you say?
He ain't got a shot in hell.
Oh,
he ain't
yeah.
got a shot in hell of winning.
I agree with
Not
that.
even a little bit.
That's why I'm looking forward to Heinisch's performance. But I know that Ben, his daughter, picked Derek Brunson in the earlier segment of this podcast against Wicked MMA. So, Ben, are you officially pulling for Brunson now because of that?
Oh yeah, I'm totally pulling for Brunson because of that. That's going to be hilarious if Brunson wins. I'm not going to put any of my pick in that. Like, I'm not like, oh, Brunson's my underdog now. No,
Hey,
but that's not the way I feel it.
Brunson ain't nobody to sleep on though.
No, I mean, like, I'm not trying to say that Brunson. I don't feel as strongly as you guys do. Like, you guys, like when Seth heard that Brunson was my daughter's pick, he was like, "Yeah, Brunson isn't gonna win." He said Brunson. He said Brunson has way less of a shot than Showtime does because that's the other difference in their picks. She picked Anthony Pettis and he picked Diaz. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we'll see.
since we're speaking on picks, let's go ahead and get into our picks, which is why you
All
guys
right.
are here. So, for any fans that are listening for the first time, starting at UFC 237, we challenged Ricky and Buddy to a pick'em game for UFC pay-per-views. We have two competitions. There is an individual competition and then team versus team. So, the way it works is each of us have to pick a fighter in each of these four categories. So, we have the lock, which is the fighter that you're most secure will win. 10 points if you're right, -10 if you're wrong. The underdog pick, who's the betting underdog at the time that we record this, which is worth 5 points. Co-main event, which is worth 3 points. And then the main event, which is worth 5 points. So right now the standings are Ben is in 4th place with 59 points. Ricky is in 3rd place with 64 points. I'm in 2nd place with 69 points. And Buddy is the front runner with 77 points, which brings us to a total to MMA Marks is at 141, and sadly we are at 128. So you guys are in the lead, but we have to the rest
Everybody
of
likes
2019.
a good comeback.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
We're intentionally
but-
dropping it that way we can come back.
Are you
in the
holding
end.
back? Are you holding back on purpose, man? And then at the end, you're just gonna breeze through.
Nah, man, I swing for the fences every time.
Yeah.
And when I saw an opportunity to take a commanding lead, I took a commanding back seat by going with Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, I was about to say,
why?
I hope that Frankie doesn't headline a card at the end of the year, or else we're definitely going to lose if he's fighting Cejudo.
No.
Because I know where that pick's
That's
going.
Yeah, that is where you're going. Absolutely, and that's where we're going to win, sir. 'Cause all you guys are going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And Frankie's going to be your
Bantamweight.
bantamweight champion. Yeah, get the
Frankie's gonna be
bouncy
downfall.
bouncy
Yeah.
castle weight classes wrong.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. So now Frankie's gonna drop to 135, and you're gonna follow him there to watch him fall further,
Oh, he will.
further and further.
See,
He's going to win, man.
No, he's not. He's
let
not
me
gonna win.
let me just say something though. This is the difference between me and Ben. Ben is in last. I am in first. I was able to put my, I guess my heart pick aside and choose John Jones over Thiago Santos.
So
You know,
was
sometimes you gotta
I.
let your brain do your thinking in these picks.
So did I.
We just say,
Now,
Did
now
that.
Frankie,
My brain just came to the different conclusion.
Frankie was a bad choice.
That speaking of that fight card, was
Yeah.
that
Hey, you
not was that not the most predictable fight card this whole year? I
Yeah.
mean,
Not according to Ben.
Uruguay was the most predictable fight card of the year.
I didn't do so good on
yeah,
my fight picks.
yeah. The Frankie Edgar fight card, he got every single one right,
like prelims and everything.
huh?
I said prelims and the main card, like the entire
He went
card.
all the way up the card.
So-
every single
Wow.
one.
I remember y'all
Side note,
mentioned that
look
on the
at my image.
podcast.
I accidentally messed up the first pick, but if you listen to the podcast, I picked the other guy.
Gotcha.
It was actually just a mess up on my image.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty impressive. Did you bet any real money on that?
I wish.
No, I've never bet any money on any fights. other than the app DraftKings.
I was about to say, I've played DraftKings a couple times, and I just play like the beginner tournaments. So you're playing against like 5 people, and I won like one of those. But on this previous card, I bet for like the first time, and I parlayed Shevchenko, Luque, Chris Gutierrez, and Volkan Ozdemir. So I ended up making like $111.
Damn.
That's nice.
Yeah, with only a $25 bet. So I was like, well, this is kind of nice. I might have to start doing
Hell
this a little
yeah.
bit more often if I can get them right.
When he plays DraftKings,
I do horribly.
it changes the whole way we watch fights. He sits there on the edge of his seat, sweating like a pig.
And I cuss out everybody because they're not even putting any output out because it's like every punch counts.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing
It's
is,
like I hate this.
it's like when you have money on it, like with Luque and Perry, I'm like, Perry won that fight. And like, I love Mike Perry. And it's like, I really want to see him win, but it's also like,
he didn't win that fight.
He won that fight.
He didn't win that fight.
hey, we disagreed that on our recap episode. I think he won that fight. Ben had it
Ben, he didn't win
30-27
that fight,
Luque.
did he didn't win that fight, did he, Ben?
I thought it was close, but I thought that
2-1.
Luque won every round. I thought the first
Thank
2
you.
rounds were close.
Yep.
But like the
Perry
third
won
round,
first.
the only thing that was definitive is Luque won the 3rd round.
Luque
Do y'all
won the
agree with
third
that?
round easily.
Perry won the first 2.
Okay, that's exactly
And
how
I don't
see it.
and I'm not like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, I just felt like Luque won the first 2. And on a scorecard, that looks like I'm saying it was a rout. But I'm saying it was really super close the first 2 rounds. And then if we score it like Pride, clearly Luque won.
Yeah, but
Like, I mean,
Okay. we're not in Pride, but yeah. I see.
yeah, but I mean, like, if you want me to score it the other way, then it's 30-27, Luque, and it sounds like I'm like, well, it's a blowout. But
yeah.
that's not really the way I feel about it.
You just edged him every round.
Yeah,
So that's how it looks like
I
that.
felt like he edged him at the first 2 rounds and then won definitively the 3rd round.
Yeah, he definitely did more damage.
Totally.
All right.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our picks for UFC 241. We're going to let
All right,
you guys start first, like always. Give us your lock for UFC 241.
All right, I'm gonna jump right into it and say my crazy ass lock is Sadiq
Yusuf.
Yusuf.
All right.
Yusuf. Whatever.
That's a Maryland boy.
Yusuf.
Oh, okay. I was about to
Yeah.
ask what's the reason for making the lock, but
Oh yeah, he trains at Maryland. That's pretty much wrong.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
he's very intense.
yeah.
He throws 100% like the whole time.
Mhm.
Yeah, like he's got a ham sandwich on the line.
Yeah.
And then my lock was Devontae Smith.
Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and start with mine. Since it's the exact same as Buddy's, mine is also Devontae Smith. It was him before the change, and now especially after the change, with it being such a short notice, I think he gets it done pretty easily. So that's who I feel the most confident in. Ben, how about you?
My lock will
Kinda
be
nervous.
Yoel Romero.
Oh my gosh!
Yoel Romero is going to beat Paulo Costa.
Just for the record, I was really close to picking Costa as the underdog pick.
And you would be wrong.
This happens all the time with Ricky and Ben, by the way.
Yeah,
Who's your underdog, Ricky?
that's exactly what happened at 239. Yeah, 'cause your lock was Kies, and then your underdog was Sanchez. So.
Right.
Well, it's gonna go
did that happen
differently
at
this time.
240? Wait, who was your lock was Max? Oh, I guess it was your main event that was Frankie. So not
Yeah, it
exactly the same.
Yeah, I didn't lock Frankie.
Right,
But I was
right.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
the
my
main and-
He was
main
my
and underdog.
underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my underdog too. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
See, that's not what I'm doing here, because I think we'll go on from here.
All right.
Okay.
So
So
locks are settled. Yeah.
oh yeah, and then his underdog was Costa.
Yeah, my underdog's Paulo Costa.
Okay. So Ricky's
And then-
underdog, Paulo Costa, Buddy. Who you got?
Jakar Klaus or Close.
Okay.
It's like DRAKKAR.
Can't we just say Klaus?
Close Klaus.
Yeah, it's Klaus.
Do you know who that
Hey,
is?
you guys always pronounce the name right, so I'm just trusting whatever
Oh,
y'all
yeah,
got.
Look,
That's something that always cracks me up about the show. It's literally like a unique thing that y'all have for real. Because at first, I feel like if somebody listened for the first time, they're like, "Man, don't pronounce right. But now I'm just like, dude, that like adds like laughter to the show now. That's like the thing.
How bad are they gonna fuck this name up?
But okay, for real, all the names now, it seems like all these fighters are literally like, you do have to read it, like pronounce it like every syllable distinctly. I mean, you got like
Right.
Nurmagomedov, Magomed Sharapov, like a bunch of those names are starting to come around.
Showing off. Showing off.
Showing off now.
Young,
Yeah,
young
I just-
J.
yeah, young J-Check.
We give them nicknames.
Yeah. So do I. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we have Costa and Klaus from the MMA Marks. Ben, who you got for your underdog pick?
That would be Rafael Asuncao.
Are you on crack today? Are you smoking crack?
No, man, he's gonna win.
No,
Like,
Corey
What is
Sandhagen
in
was
the water
close to
down
my
there?
lock.
Holy shit!
Just watch, guys.
I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna laugh. Oh man, I'm gonna be tweeting you so bad when this shit
Do
goes
it.
down.
Do it.
All right, so Ben's picking Rafael Asuncao. Now this one
You
is
feel
pretty
good about the
risky.
team partner there, buddy.
I'm a little nervous right now, but I don't know. Sometimes he pulls them out. He definitely didn't with Frankie, but I'm picking Sandhagen. But for my underdog,
How'd you score that Frankie fight? Tell me how you scored that Frankie fight.
me or them,
You.
I had it 48-47 for Max.
Right, exactly. Everybody was like, "Oh, Frank's gonna go out there and get humiliated and destroyed," and I'm like, "Really? I don't think he is."
How did y'all score it?
I scored that bitch 50 fucking
45.
43.
Seriously?
It was like 10-3 rounds.
See, I didn't see that. I definitely thought that Frankie put up a better
bullshitting.
fight than I expected, but I still think that Max clearly won. But
I mean, he put up a better fight than Ortega, but I mean, come on.
yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and Ortega blew his brains out, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, Ortega killed Frankie, so Max is gonna kill Frankie," and I'm like, "That's not the way this works."
no, MMA
Not
math
the-
never works.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So what's your underdog?
for my underdog, a risky pick, I'm taking 209, baby. Nate Diaz at that plus 110 underdog.
See,
I think he gets it done over Showtime. I think he wins a decision.
great minds think alike, Seth.
Jesus Christ.
Because that was almost mine.
Yeah. I was like, that's too good not to take.
This is why we're first and second on our individuals.
Yeah.
These young kids, Ben. I swear to God.
All right, well, we'll work our way up to the co-main event. I'm sorry, work our way up to the main event. We'll go ahead and start with the co-main event. Ricky, who you got?
Oh, I got Pettis all day, son.
All right.
Dude.
Now, how do you think he gets it done? We'll kind of go in depth on these last two.
See, I think he gets it done by knockout. I was listening to Ariel, and Duke Rufus was on there, and he just won me over how sure he was of Pettis's ability. He said it was the best training camp he's ever seen him in. He's really motivated. His kicks are on point, and he just thinks that this is the best Pettis we're going to see. So he won me
Okay.
over today with all that, so I'm thinking Pettis is going to whip his ass.
I'm gonna
And
send
plus
you
it's-
some Duke Rufus. I'm gonna send you some Duke Rufus links talking about CM Punk and how
Jesus
he's gonna do
Christ, no.
in his UFC debuts, and then he can sell you on that. Because yeah, don't believe
That's a
anything
good
a
point.
coach says.
That is a good point.
Oh my God.
I swear, I feel like you guys are either in like total agreement or total disagreement, depending on the subject.
Yeah, it's either one or the other.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, but
buddy.
they're both in last place.
Yeah.
Hold on. I am not in last place.
You're third.
The crack smoker is in last.
So I got Diaz winning. He gonna do some ninja shit.
Yeah.
I just got him winning a decision.
He's gonna do some spinny shit.
He's
Okay.
just gonna outstrike him, and if it goes to the ground, he's gonna be able to do work.
Yeah. Again, I agree with you on that. I have Nate for my co-main event. I really don't think that the 3-year layoff is going to play too much of an impact on him because he's always training and doing like triathlons or kind of whatever he's up to. I think
But
that
is
his
that real fighting?
Smoking
not-
hella weed.
not real fighting. I think that he's in shape enough to be prepared whenever he goes into a good fight camp, like he's done this last time. I think he's going to outlast Pettis because I didn't think that Pettis looked good against Wonder Boy. definitely had a beautiful knockout, but until that point, I didn't really like what I saw out of Pettis at welterweight. So I think that Nate's going to be able to. Since it's only a 3-round fight, I think that Diaz has the advantage. Yeah.
Real quick, I want you to go back and look at the ending sequence of Pettis Wonderboy, because he set that up. That was not a fluke. That was not something that actually happened. He set that shit up.
No, I definitely don't think it was a fluke. Like, it was beautiful. I'm just saying, up until those
I just don't know
seconds,
that separates Nate Diaz from consciousness. I think it might knock him down. I think that he might hit him with that exact punch and him get floored like Gomi did to Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But I see him just being like, oh man, he knocked me down. Not like, well, he's stiffened and it's over. Because if he had just knocked Wonderboy down at the end of that round, he would have lost that fight.
No. Yeah, I don't think Pettis is going to beat him boxing. I think he's going to kick his head off. That's how I think he gets the knockout.
Gotcha. And what round you say? Are you predicting for the knockout?
I'm undecided.
Sorry if I put you on the spot. Yeah.
I know. I'm undecided on the round.
Gotcha.
If I had to pick, I'd say second round.
Okay.
Is it a 5-round fight or a 3-round fight?
It's just three since it's co-main.
Yeah, it's second round then.
Ricky, don't listen. You even already said that.
Hey, that's okay. All right. Main event.
Hold on. What fashion did you say, Seth?
Oh, I said Nate Diaz by decision.
Okay, I thought you said decision. I wasn't sure.
Ben, and before I move on, Ben, what is your pick for co-main event? I didn't even ask you.
Diaz.
Okay. And how do you think he gets it done?
I thought it's 51-49 in my opinion. Like, as far as percentage wise of who wins this fight, I think it's super duper close. I think he wins. I think that the most logical thing is Diaz wins a decision by kind of being longer than Pettis and outworking him, just kind of volume.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to say is my fluky weirdness is, don't be surprised if for some reason Nate gets on top of him and Anthony really threatens with the submission or taps him.
Oh, that's a very possible.
Don't think that's not possible, because Benson Henderson, who completely mauled Nate Diaz, got his arm straight broken by Showtime.
Yeah, and you know who called that? Duke Rufus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting if that fight goes to the ground.
That's where it's
very
most
interesting
to me. Yeah.
What if we get
I think Diaz can definitely probably do better than.
I think it all depends on who initiates the takedown. If it's Diaz,
that's very true.
He might have the advantage, but if it's Pettis, he's gonna dominate that situation.
Diaz and Pettis are both good in guard and on top.
Yeah. See, I weirdly feel like it's the other way around. I feel like if anybody is shooting, it's because there's a problem. It's either Diaz has gotten his legs chopped up and he's like, I can't stand here anymore. We have to change this position. Or Anthony Pettis is like, I'm getting just slapped around here. I've got to grab him. And so when whoever is shooting isn't doing so because their game plan was, I'm shooting on this guy from the minute go. It's because they're losing stand up. And now they've decided to enter a probably worse idea because plan A has not worked out the way they wanted it to. So plan B is you get to roll around with a black belt who's really good at tapping people off their back, who's really okay with you taking them down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
so it's
Yep.
I can dig it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the main event, the UFC heavyweight rematch between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. Ricky, go ahead and show us who you got with the first pick.
All right, I'm going to be controversial against my co-host here, and I'm going to pick Stipe. I think that fire is just too crazy. Cormier he doesn't have the fire anymore. He's just like, you know what? If I don't win, I can retire. I'm making so much money with this and with that. He doesn't have a real reason to retain. He even said it on the interviews, multiple interviews. He's like, yeah, if my fight camp wasn't good, I would just give up the belt. It's like, then you don't have the fire, man. You don't have the drive to beat him. And Stipe has been stewing over this fucking loss for how many months? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's been a long
taking
time.
Stipe.
Okay, buddy, who you got?
I got DC. How often does a rematch actually, change what happened?
Yeah, I was going to
Not
bring that up.
BJ Penn and Jens Pulver.
It's not often.
Conor
though.
McGregor and Nate Diaz, right?
That he didn't win that.
Are you guys fans of the YouTube channel MMA On Point?
I don't think we know
Y'all
about
familiar
that.
with
Randy
I
and
may
Chuck.
subscribe to them with my personal account.
Yeah. Well, they just did a video on like title rematches and stuff, and it was pretty insightful, pretty much showing that like it is pretty rare that the rematch actually goes the other way. So pretty much whoever wins the first one, I think it was like 60 something, 70 something % chance that they're going to win the second one too. And obviously I know it's MMA, definitely can't base it off those. But if you were to like, if history were to repeat itself, there's definitely more of a chance that DC wins based on like pure stats alone. But I recommend to anybody to go watch that video because they did a really good job on it.
Well, it's not just a pure stat. Like, it's more logical that DC wins. It's the fact that DC's never lost at heavyweight. DC's only lost to John Jones. Stipe has lost to Stefan Struve. Do that math.
I'll never
Like,
bet
I saw
on
him
fucking
getting lit
Stipe
up
for that.
by Stefan Struve. So, yeah, I'm picking DC. Until DC gets in the ring, in the cage with the skyscraper, then I'll never know. But something tells
Wow.
me that Struve would go for a ride. He would straight up like suplex Struve.
Okay.
He would
Yeah,
pick
well,
him up and
if
throw him
Like
down.
and Henderson.
Real quick, let me just go on record and say, if Stipe fights Struve again, he'll lose.
That's what I was just about to ask. Who would y'all have in a rematch there? Pretty much to
Struve,
Ben
all
and y'all.
day.
What's the
TKO,
line?
first round.
The only reason I say it is
That's
because
not
Stipe
right.
doesn't give a fuck about reach. That's Stipe's problem. He does not care about reach. Yes, he'll circle out, but he doesn't care how long your arms are. He's just gonna take the punches to get in, and that's how Struve whips his ass. DC
Yep.
doesn't have that issue because DC is a fucking T-Rex compared to Struve.
Yeah. That's why styles
Compared
make
to
fights.
almost every heavyweight,
Right.
you know? Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason that when he was in Strikeforce, everybody called him Black Fedor. He's this
Yeah.
pudgy 5'11" dude that, like, good God, if he gets a hold of you or hits you, you're in serious, serious trouble. You're probably going to sleep if he hits you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess I'll close this out by saying I've gone back and forth with it a lot, but in the end, I have decided to pick Daniel Cormier. I think this is a safer bet, especially
Good
for
choice.
something like this.
Pussy.
Yeah, hey, I think I'm going to be right with it, but we'll see afterward. But yeah, I think it's going to be a decision, though. I don't think that he finishes Stipe this time due to Ricky's point. I think that Stipe is going to hang in there and not get caught with that elbow. in
He
the
better
clinch.
fix that fucking clinch shit.
I'm sure he will, hopefully. But also, I want to see how eye pokes play into this one because I know that they both did it, but I feel like that was a big factor in the last fight. What do y'all think?
Oh yeah, yeah. DC learned from John Jones. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he learned from the best.
Yeah.
And just to butt in, I don't think that we actually, because like on the co-main event we did, but on this one we didn't me and Ricky didn't officially say what round and how we think it's done.
yeah.
Did you wanna
We'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Starting with y'all.
I'm gonna say that this is gonna be Stipe. He's gonna beat him TKO in the 4th round.
Wow, that's a bold pick.
Yeah.
Does he
You know?
call out John Jones after it?
Fuck no.
All right.
Does he call out Brock Lesnar after it?
He's gonna tell John Jones to go suck a dick. That's what he's gonna do.
That would be a memorable moment, honestly, if that happened.
Would we even understand him when he said it though?
Oh no, he'll be crying.
All right. I want to say DC 3rd round rear naked choke.
Wow.
What is he? Is Stipe Derek Lewis now? Come on, man.
He's Derek Lewis. He's Anthony Johnson. I mean, he's done it a lot.
Yeah,
I think
like I said earlier, I'm taking DC by decision. I think that Stipe will learn a lot from the first fight, hang in there, probably win 1 or 2 rounds, but at the end of the day, I can't go against DC. I think he wins more rounds. Ben, who
Daniel
you got?
Cormier, 2nd round, TKO injury slam.
That's right.
He's
That's
gonna
right.
dislocate his arm. Like he's gonna like slam him down on his shoulder or something, and it's gonna pop out, and they're gonna stop the fight. And
That's
Stipe's
what I'm
gonna be like,
talking
I can
about.
still fight. Stipe's gonna be like, I'll pop it
Go
back
hard,
in.
you
I
go
still
all the way
fight him.
hard.
Yeah,
Extra 5 points if that happens.
sure.
Shit, I'll make it extra. To make it extra 10. They're
argued-
already behind.
We'll give you
argues
extra.
with
Wait, hold on,
5
hold
points
on,
if
hold
that
on.
happens.
Extra 10 if it's a okay
TKO slam.
slam due to injury or injury due to slam. Second round TKO for DC.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Like it
I don't
doesn't
care what
separate
round
his
happens in.
consciousness, but it separates his shoulder.
Yeah, we'll give you an extra 10 points if it happens throughout the fight.
If
If
that
that's
is how it stops.
We'll
Well,
give you extra 10.
Go watch
Okay.
that. You guys think
We'll-
I'm kidding? Go watch that Josh Barnett fight.
I
Go
know.
watch
I
the
know.
265-pound Josh Barnett get hoisted, and it's just like, oh, geez,
Can we
man.
stop bringing up DC slams?
Can we go back and watch DC slam Dan Henderson
I knew.
repeatedly?
I could tell in his face. I could tell in his face he was about to go there. That's why I was like, can we please stop talking about this?
Dude, that's hilarious.
That's my favorite fight.
R.I.P. Hendo.
Yeah. All right. Well, buddy, you have everything written down, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you
Can't read it. but
read
you-
it to
yeah, you got it
recap
written down.
to close out the show.
What'd you say?
I said if Buddy could just read that, so we can kind of recap everybody's picks. and
Buddy
close
can't
out the
read.
show.
What are you talking about?
All right, so for our locks, Ricky has Sadiq Yusuf. I have Buddy. My name is. I have. Ricky is on another level. I can't deal with him. I have Devontae Smith.
Oh, it hurt my chest.
Seth has Devontae Smith, and Ben has Yoel Romero.
Oh, God.
Right? Yeah.
So gutsy.
Joel's my lock. Yeah.
All right.
You couldn't even hold that in, could you, Seth?
I mean, yeah, okay, Yoel is definitely the safer bet. I'm just like, I don't know if I'd make him my lock. But I said this with Chiesa, and he proved me wrong there. So I'm going to give him that credit.
Better than a sunset, right?
All
Yeah,
right.
You
Underdog.
guys
we
are
got-
sleeping on it, man. This is going to look good whenever it gets played back. You guys
Oh,
sleeping
I
on a
can't wait.
sunset.
I can't
Hey,
wait.
remember you
This
guys
will not age
laughing
well for
you guys
y'all.
remember-
for y'all.
yeah, you remember? Well, I remember y'all, everyone laughing at my underdog pick with the chick.
Oh,
Everyone
Angela
thought that
Hill.
was hilarious. Yeah, Angela Hill was just hilarious. And then you watch the fight, and it's like, oh, well, she lost a decision, but did she lose a decision?
Wasn't it? It was split decision, I'm pretty sure.
It was
Yeah.
a split decision. Yeah, she did way better than I expected, but she still lost.
Technically, yes. I will give you that.
I mean, you got to come up with a better
He's
example
bragging
than that.
about losing. You can't brag about almost.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you guys have laughed before when it was not a laughable situation. It was scored as though that she won it on SureDog on all of the people that don't have any investment in this.
And that's what that's what we're going off of from now on. So
no,
If you guys should try the app Verdict if you don't have it.
I was gonna say I'm thinking about doing that for this card because I've never done it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Where we at?
Now we're at the
about
underdog
O.J. Simpson?
picks. That would be Ricky has Costa. I have Jakar or Klaus, however you say it. Nate Diaz for Seth. Rafael Sunsao for Ben. And we go to the co-main event. Ricky has Pettis. I have Diaz. Seth has Diaz. Ben has Diaz. Ben has Diaz. And then
That was good. For real, that's not being sarcastic. That made me chuckle.
main event. We have Ricky has Stipe, and across the board we all have DC.
Now, what's worse? Is my pick on Stipe or your pick on a Sunsao worse?
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Okay, I honestly think that's a good question.
yeah, that's kind of close. in my
Because,
opinion.
like, yeah, all jokes aside, I mean, I think that Asensal's going to put up a close fight. My thing with Sandhagen is just the reach. But I feel like Asensal's better than John Lineker. So,
Sunsao's different than John Lineker.
yeah,
he's more dangerous in
a
different
way.
area.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll definitely be tweeting y'all during the fight, so especially that
Yeah,
one.
and if you get if you guys get verdict, we'll add each other, and that should be fun.
That sounds good. I'll do that. I'll hit you up after this is over, and we can figure it out.
Yeah, you like score each round. It's kind of cool. I like
Gotcha.
it.
Are y'all both on it, or just Buddy?
Nah, I can't do anything while I'm watching the fights. I'm just one track mind.
Gotcha.
I tried to use Twitter while I was doing the fight, and it didn't work. I'm an idiot.
Hey, that's okay.
At least he realizes he's an idiot.
Hey, it's probably good. You're probably more in the moment than a lot of people are. So
Yeah.
that's a good trait to have. Well, guys, it's always so much fun with y'all, for real. There's always a bunch of laughs, a good back and forth, especially in this episode. But for all of our followers, or for all of our listeners that are not following you guys on social media, where can everybody find y'all at?
You can find us at MMA_Marks, and we are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're on Twitch now, and we actually have a website now. That's www.MMAmarks.com.
Yeah.
Yep.
And y'all go
It's
watch
still under
Buddy on.
construction, but it's definitely up.
Gotcha. I was just gonna say y'all need to go watch Buddy on Twitch. Got some pretty funny clips from what I've seen on his Instagram.
Go!
And I play occasionally with him sometimes where he kind of whoops me on UFC 3. But y'all need to tune into that.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
So-
I'm still waiting on your brother.
Rafael
That's your brother
Sunsao.
hard, yo. Your brother ain't. I think he scared him.
Rafael Sunsao, since 2011, has only lost to Marlon Moraes and TJ Dillashaw, who he also holds wins over.
How old is his son?
Ooh, good fact.
So
How old is he?
he's old.
Yeah,
He's old.
Yeah,
So-
37, 38, something like that.
Yeah.
He's Frankie's
Yeah.
age, I bet.
Yeah, he's Frankie's age. That's a good comparison.
You really root for these older guys, huh?
He's 36. 36.
His birthday's in a week. He's 36.
We
Yeah,
better ask.
He's
Google.
almost 37. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that'll close this one out. Again, thank y'all for coming on, and we will see y'all at the next pay-per-view.
All right, man.
Peace.
Hanging with the boys.
That concludes episode number 20 of The Fight Addicts. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or any other podcasting app, be sure to subscribe to the show. That way you don't miss any new content from us. And leave us a 5-star review if you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. That way you never miss hearing from us. Be sure to follow Wicked MMA on Instagram at wicked.mma, and follow our boys Ricky and Buddy on Instagram and Twitter at MMA_Marks. As always, follow us on social media at The Fight Addicts, and follow mine and Ben's personal Twitter accounts at TFA_Seth and at TFA_Ben. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it, and we will see y'all next time.